right.
He's ready.
Markelle Fultz, once upon a time, was the number 1 pick in the draft. A draft that featured a lot of really good players.
It was a good draft.
It was a really good draft. One of those was De'Aaron Fox.
Yes.
Who fell to us, and
bigger than basketball.
Much bigger than basketball.
Lonzo Ball.
Lonzo Ball went 2. Jason Tatum went 3. Josh Jackson.
Former King.
Josh Jackson went 4th. Markelle Fultz went number 1. And, he went to the University of Washington, and he was a clear-cut number 1. Like, this wasn't a, I still laugh at the fact that Danny Ainge with the Celtics traded down to the 3 with Philadelphia, actually got assets to get Jason Tatum, who was the best player in the draft. It just an absolute genius move. But as you said, it was a good draft. Unfortunately for Markelle Fultz, it's weird. Somebody asked me, they said, hey, is Markelle Fultz the Ben Simmons of, like, is he just a shorter Ben Simmons? Number 1 pick, great potential, injury sidelined him. And I understand where the analogy, where the comparison comes from. I think there's 2 main differences. Number 1, Markelle Fultz has never played at the level Ben Simmons did once upon a time. Ben Simmons is a multi-time all-star, all-defense, bloody blue, right? Markelle never got there. But they are both number 1 picks with tons of potential that are affected by injuries. And in Markelle Fultz's defense, he also never had kind of the psychological, mental blocks that Ben Simmons did either, at least that we know of.
Yeah. Wait, didn't he have some yips at the beginning?
Yes, he had to redo his whole motion was just it was like a transformer or
something got in his head.
Something got in his head. So maybe he did have a little bit of this stuff going on. Yeah, exactly. So Fultz goes number 1.
I like it as insurance.
I think it is a perfect look. Is there a chance that Markelle Fultz could? Oh, by the way, he's 26.
Mm-hmm.
You're not 30. He's 26 years old. That is still, you're now kind of entering your prime, if you will. Is there? And I know we all. This is how we all would naturally think as fans. You get a player, this is where he's going to rediscover it.
Maybe.
And by the way, I sure hope so.
Yeah.
Maybe. Odds are he will be a low to mid impact rotational backup point guard. I think that is the most likely thing that will happen.
Yeah, I think what we're seeing now, too, we've already talked about this the last couple of days, is kind of the Keon problem, which is a good problem because Keon's been great. He was awesome last night. You've got to get him minutes on the floor. Well, Monk's going to play, and then we've already got talking about Levine, DeRozan. They still have a guard or a backcourt type of overload, but not truly a point guard. So I think that's where he can fit in case of emergency.
He is a true blue point guard. Not a 3-point shooter. He's a 27% lifetime 3-point shooter. Also a 73% lifetime free throw shooter. However, he did shoot 89.5% from the line in 2021. Of course, that was in 8 games. So we'll go with the averages here. He'll get you, 3-4 rebounds a game, 4+ assists a game, but that's in 25 minutes on average for those career averages with 11 points. He is incredibly athletic. He is not a huge guard, if you will, for that position, but he's 6'4". That's a bigger style point guard. So yeah, I think this is a perfectly understandable, very logical, very smart move by Monty and Wes in the front office to do exactly what they need to do. You got a roster spot open. Let's identify what you need. Oh, we need a backup point guard. Who's out there? Oh, Markelle Fultz. Okay, well, here's a guy that's shown that he can play rotationally. If he's healthy right now. And there's some uncovered, hopefully, potential and talent there that we could help with.
Yeah, and I think when you're looking at this situation, Monty has, I could hear some people going, why did it take him so long to address some of these things? Because, the roster still has some imbalances to it. But he made the trades, and then you kind of see what's left. And this one was, an opportunity with someone out there as a free agent. And I think it makes sense. So he has, addressed the front court a little bit, some wing help with LaRavia, certainly some point guard help. I think they've done okay here.
I think they have. I think this has been a very, what's the right word for these guys? I think Monty and Wes, and I don't want to do the copium thing with the Fox thing and all that and recalibrate that whole feeling, but look, there's no denying. I guess full disclosure. If you ask me right now, I think this team is going to be a play-in. I think they're going to be a play-in team, and I would lean 40-60 against them making it out of the play-in. That's just today what I believe. And I'm only saying that because I don't want people to think I'm doing false hope and copium here. I think given the circumstances, I think the front office has acquitted themselves quite well over the last couple of weeks, making some very Jonas Valanciunas, incredibly logical move. Markelle Fultz, very logical move. Jake LaRavia, who struggled last night. But again, this is a guy I think people are really going to enjoy. And I think even in the Zach LaVine thing, where he unfortunately put on a Kings uniform and forgot how to shoot a basketball, Katie said something on the broadcast last night that I thought was really insightful and made me feel a little bit better. She said, look, I'm paraphrasing, look at LaVine's career. Don't take 5 games and let that paint 8 years. It was a completely different offensive setup in Chicago. It was a completely different set of players in Chicago. It's not just a matter of can he make threes. There are rhythms to these things. He will learn. He will get used to it, and he's not going to go from 48% to 20%. I mean, hope not. That makes sense to me.
Yeah, Billy Donovan called plays almost every time. Doug's like read, react, just play. Right. So it'll take a while. Yeah.
But I enjoy the Markelle Fultz edition, and I like that edition, and hopefully at only 26 years old, once upon a time the Sacramento Kings were a place for players to reclaim their careers. Hopefully we see that a little bit again. We'll take a break. 30 seconds here. Jason's going to talk to you about overhead. When we come back, 3 for Madness, and we will talk